Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की श्रील प्रभुपाद की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय So we are reading from Canto 10, Chapter 46, Uddhava visits Vrindavan, Text 14. Tam āgatam samāgamya Tam āgatam samāgamya kṛṣṇasyānucaraṁ priyam kṛṣṇasyānucaraṁ priyam nandaḥ pariṣvajya nandaḥ pariṣvajya vāsudeva-dhiyārcayat vāsudeva-dhiyārcayat tam āgatam samāgamya kṛṣṇasyānucaraṁ priyam nandaḥ pariṣvajya vāsudeva-dhiyārcayat tam āgatam samāgamya kṛṣṇasyānucaraṁ priyam nandaḥ pariṣvajya vāsudeva-dhiyārcayat vāsudeva-dhiyārcayat kṛṣṇasyānucaraṁ priyam kṛṣṇasyānucaraṁ priyam nandaḥ pariṣvajya vāsudeva-dhiyārcayat. Mataji's āgataṁ samāgamya kṛṣṇasyānucaraṁ priyam nandaḥ pariṣvajya Mataji's āgataṁ samāgamya kṛṣṇasyānucaraṁ priyam nandaḥ pariṣvajya vāsudeva-dhiyārcayat. kṛṣṇasyānucaraṁ priyam nandaḥ pariṣvajya vāsudeva-dhiyārcayat. āgataṁ samāgamya kṛṣṇasyānucaraṁ priyam nandaḥ pariṣvajya vāsudeva-dhiyārcayat. Word by word meaning. Tam, him, Uddhava. Āgatam, arrived. Samāgamya, approaching. Kṛṣṇasya, of Kṛṣṇa. Anucaram, the follower. Priyam, dear. Nanda Mahārāja. prītaḥ, happy. Pariṣvajya, embracing. Vāsudeva-dhiyā, thinking of Lord Vāsudeva. ārcayat, worshipped. Translation and purport by followers of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As soon as Uddhava arrived at Nanda Mahārāja's home, Nanda came forward to meet him. The cowherd king embraced him in great happiness and worshipped him as nondifferent from Lord Vāsudeva. Please repeat. As soon as Uddhava arrived at Nanda Mahārāja's home, Nanda came forward to meet him. The cowherd king embraced him in great happiness and worshipped him as non-different from Lord Vāsudeva. Purport. Uddhava looked just like Nanda's son, Kṛṣṇa, and gave pleasure to anyone who saw him. Thus, although Nanda was absorbed in thoughts of separation from Kṛṣṇa, when he saw Uddhava coming towards his house, he became aware of external events and eagerly went out to embrace his exalted visitor. Om ajñānatimirandasya jñānāñjana-śalakaya chakṣurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Vāñśhākalpatarubhyascha kripāsindhubhyev cha patitānām pāvanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Uddhava visits Vrindavan. We are reading from this chapter since last 2 weeks. So I will just read one of the paragraph from Kṛṣṇa book from this particular chapter. So if there are some new audience, we come to know the context, what we are reading since last weeks. So Prabhupada writes here, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamiham. Kṛṣṇa is very responsive. He responds in proportion to the devotee's advancement in devotional service. Thus, as the gopis were thinking of Kṛṣṇa in separation 24 hours a day, so Kṛṣṇa was also thinking of the gopis, Mother Yashoda, Nanda Mahārāja and the other residents of Vrindavan. Although he appeared to be away from them, he could understand how they were transcendently aggrieved, and so immediately wanted to send Uddhava to give them a message of solace. So this was the purpose of sending Uddhava to Vrindavan. So Kṛṣṇa wanted to pacify his devotees who were feeling continuous separation from him. So we will try to understand what we can take from this pastime, because we understand 10th canto is very elevated, but in the association of wonderful Vaishnavas we can try to understand and speak on this most intimate pastimes of the Lord. So here in the 10th canto it's all about separation, feeling of separation. All the pastimes we hear, it's mostly glorifying Kṛṣṇa and his reciprocation, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned in this particular paragraph we read, that he is perfectly reciprocative. So if you think of Kṛṣṇa 2 hours a day, Kṛṣṇa thinks of us 2 hours a day. And here we see that gopis were, and Nanda Mahārāja and Yashoda were meditating 24 hours for Kṛṣṇa, so Kṛṣṇa was also responsive like that. So it's a very important point to understand that if we can commit more time to Kṛṣṇa, meditating on him, glorifying him, then he will be also more reciprocative to us. So it's not a very difficult process. If we try to do this in the association of devotees, it's very much possible. So this is a very nice narration how Uddhava visits Vrindavan and how Nanda Mahārāja receives him. So as we hear from previous verses, Uddhava looks very much similar to Kṛṣṇa. And also in yesterday's class we heard that even the outfits he was wearing were all given by Kṛṣṇa to him. So even he wore the outfits of Kṛṣṇa. So he was very much like Kṛṣṇa. So Kṛṣṇa was very much aware about this. So he thought to choose Uddhava to go to Vrindavan, so that his parents can feel little solace and to fill up that gap of separation for them. Kṛṣṇa tried to do this. This is best he could do. So our situation is also quite similar. We have this wonderful opportunity to glorify the Lord all the time, to have association of devotees. So this longing of the soul to serve the Lord can only be fulfilled when we practice devotional service. So that was also the answer to Panchgoda Prabhu's question yesterday, that we are not to move around or loiter here in Vrindavan, but our focus should be render devotional service. This is what Srila Prabhupada wanted all his followers to do in Vrindavan and anywhere in the world, to continuously engaging ourselves in rendering devotional service to the Lord. And this is how we can establish our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Any other medium, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, we can reach to a level of Paramatma realization or Brahman realization, but if you want to realize Kṛṣṇa as Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sakshat Bhagavan, then the process recommended is devotional service. So this is very important for all of us connected to this wonderful movement Srila Prabhupada started, that we try to commit more and more of our time rendering devotional service. Because his mind is very turbulent and expert, it can engage us in many other things which are not so very fruitful for us. But without listening to the mind, if we just keep continuously engaged in rendering services, making garlands, making dresses for the Lord, cleaning the temple room, cooking for the devotees and the deities, distributing books, doing kirtan. So there are unlimited scope of rendering service, and there is no competition in this in general. So when we want to serve Kṛṣṇa, there is unlimited scope available. So if one service is, we see that there are enough devotees, we should move to another service. It's not that there is the service to please the Lord. So to establish this relationship with the Lord, important thing is to render devotional service. There is no any specific service which is more important for Kṛṣṇa. He is reciprocative in all our services we render, but he is like looking for the mood of the service we are rendering. That is more important for us. So it's more internal than external. So in that way we see that bhakti is very mysterious. So Kṛṣṇa gives bhakti to some and doesn't give to all. So it is Kṛṣṇa's wishful desire to give bhakti to devotees. So we can understand from the pastime of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So it is said that if we want this gift of bhakti from Kṛṣṇa, only thing that is required from our side is to accept it, our willingness to accept. So as we hear this pastime of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda used to go door to door, and there is a bhajan, right? He and Haridas Thakur were requesting each house, please chant Kṛṣṇa's name, please one time chant Kṛṣṇa's name. The Lord themselves chose to distribute this divine love of God, and they themselves were doing this, going door to door. Just imagine how magnanimous is Lord Nityananda. And they were ready, they were praying that if you just chant once name of Gaura Hari, if just once, we are ready to give ourselves to you. They were ready to serve them for the life. This is how Kṛṣṇa empowers his devotees to distribute the love of God. So Lord Nityananda, we recently had so many festivals, Balram Jayanti, Sri Krishna Janmashtami. So Lord Balram and Lord Nityananda are non-different, and as we heard that Lord Balram is representative of spiritual master, is the Adi Guru. Lord Balram is the Adi Guru. So through the mercy of Guru, through the mercy of devotees, we can get this bhakti. The bhakti lata bij can be only Kṛṣṇa gives through his devotees. Kṛṣṇa likes to give, rather Kṛṣṇa enjoys. Kṛṣṇa feels more pleasure in distributing this most rare gift of bhakti through his devotees. So we are very fortunate that we are part of this disciplic succession, Guru Parampara coming from Kṛṣṇa right till from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then Gaur Kishore Das Davaji, Bhaktivedanta Swami Thakur, and then our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and then his followers. So the parampara continues. So it is not possible that this causeless mercy of Kṛṣṇa can be stopped from descending. It's not possible. No material interruptions or disruptions or any material arrangement, any kind of tsunami, flood, cyclone or hurricane or corona, whatever we name it, no material arrangement can disrupt or stop this flow of love which is coming through the parampara. But as we heard, what is required from us is the desire or the willingness to accept. So, in general we think that it is not possible to develop this, but as we hear from Lord Nityananda's pastime, even the most fallen, Jagai Madai, could get this. So if we feel that we are helpless, and if we feel that we have no qualities, we have only rescue for us is to depend on the mercy of the devotees of the Lord, then there is a very bright chance that Kṛṣṇa might choose us through his devotees to bestow the seed of devotion. So Guru Parampara means that the divine flow of causeless mercy of Kṛṣṇa in the form of love is descending through Guru, and that flow cannot be interrupted or polluted by any power of this world, because it's completely transcendental. So this is a consciousness we need to nourish more and more, that there is nothing external which can hinder our progress in our devotional services. Nothing external can hinder it. Everything is internal, which is blocking our movement towards the lotus feet of the Lord, which is blocking us from surrendering us to the instructions of our spiritual master. No external force can stop us. This is the beauty of this devotional services, path of devotion. So, in whatever situation we are in, Kṛṣṇa is impartial and he gives equal opportunity to everyone. He is giving equal opportunity. We cannot say that somebody who is temple president has more opportunity and somebody who is cleaning the floor has less opportunity. No. Only we are assigned different roles. If we are focused on our roles and responsibilities to please Guru and Kṛṣṇa, then the seed of devotion is ensured to us. So, but due to our conditioning, we are continuously in this thought process of looking things external, that because I am not in association of good devotees, because I am not getting good prasad, because I am not getting proper darshan, there is a lot of pull and push, because I am not finding enough time to read Srila Prabhupada. There are so many excuses our mind will give, but these are all external. So we have to be very focused on our good fortune, how much fortunate we are that we came in contact with this wonderful movement started by Srila Prabhupada, and now we are in Vrindavan Dham in association of wonderful devotees. So we should be more appreciative of this and try to take maximum advantage that we can focus more on receiving this mercy of the parampara. And how we receive the mercy of the parampara. So this love to the devotees of Kṛṣṇa is available simply by hearing their words and offering them simple services. So we should be willing to be continuously hearing the words of the devotees and the acharyas and render them simple services. We don't have to be super skillful, super intelligent, intellectual, or some extraordinary person to be rendering service. Even the simplest service attracts the Lord. So, but the desire to hear their words and to render service is very important. So, this is the only means to connect our hearts with Kṛṣṇa. So, only through hearing from the parampara, only when we develop parampara, we can connect our heart with Kṛṣṇa. There is no other possible way. So here we see that Nanda Mahārāja and Yashoda Maharani were feeling very unfortunate because Kṛṣṇa didn't came back. He was in Mathura. They were feeling separation from Kṛṣṇa. So when Uddhava comes and pacifies them, and he kind of trying to explain them that they are very fortunate that Kṛṣṇa took birth as their child and he is doing so wonderful services. He killed Kamsa, he delivered so many citizens of Mathura. But Nanda Mahārāja spoke to Uddhava because he was like cousin of Kṛṣṇa. So he said, you don't understand it, you are a child. You cannot understand what we have lost. We are the most unfortunate on this planet because we couldn't appreciate Kṛṣṇa when he was here. We consider him just a normal child, and he describes all those things, and he told that like our situation is like a person who have a touchstone, and touchstone can give you anything, you can convert anything into gold. So we couldn't appreciate that aspect, and we just treated touchstone as a normal stone, and now we have lost that touchstone. So we are the most unfortunate because a person who doesn't have a touchstone is less unfortunate than us because we had touchstone and we lost it. So they were very, very, very much in grief because Kṛṣṇa was not with them now, and then they embraced Uddhava, and when they embraced Uddhava, because Uddhava was sent by Kṛṣṇa, they could feel the very presence of Kṛṣṇa through Uddhava. So this is a very important truth for us to know, that we are also in separation of Kṛṣṇa. We are also, by misuse of our independence, so much neglecting, although we have all the opportunities to give our lives in the loving service of the Lord, still how we are continuously, perpetually neglecting our mood to serve Kṛṣṇa, we are not ready to surrender our desire to enjoy, desire to have sense gratification, and neglecting this most important and rare gift which we can get through his devotees. So, by Kṛṣṇa's mercy is so wonderful that Kṛṣṇa keeps sending his devotees, and in his devotees we can experience Kṛṣṇa. So who are these devotees? So these devotees are those who are 100% surrendered. They have no other desire but to always continuously speak about Kṛṣṇa, like we see Srila Prabhupada. Continuous meditation was to fulfill the instruction of his spiritual master, to spread this Kṛṣṇa consciousness throughout the world, and compassionately taking all pain, despite the takers were not so serious, but still Srila Prabhupada's desire to distribute was so strong that he was unstoppable despite of all the challenges. As we hear, on Jaladuta he got heart attack, and even when he landed in America he did not have very good support, but still this is how devotees are. They are more glorious than the Lord, more compassionate than the Lord, and when these devotees are surrendered and feel more and more helpless, then Kṛṣṇa chooses them to distribute the mercy. Not that somebody is very materially qualified and then Kṛṣṇa chooses them. The selection process of Kṛṣṇa is when we feel more and more helpless, when we feel more and more incapable of doing things independent of Guru and Kṛṣṇa, then Kṛṣṇa chooses as an instrument to distribute that most precious love of God through us and deliver the humanity. So our Srila Prabhupada was an exemplifying soul who exemplified how Kṛṣṇa likes to see that his devotees are worshipped, like Kṛṣṇa says in Bhagavatam to Uddhava, Mad Bhakta Puja Vidhaka, worship my devotees. So Kṛṣṇa encourages this, that we should worship more and more devotees of Kṛṣṇa, and this is how we can get the mercy of Kṛṣṇa, because these devotees have given their everything to Kṛṣṇa, and Kṛṣṇa says that they are my life, they are more important to me than my own life. And so if we try to serve these devotees, then we can really attract Kṛṣṇa's attention, and this is how Kṛṣṇa is obliged. So, in fact, Vaishnava explains that spiritual master is more merciful than Kṛṣṇa. We recently had this divine appearance day of Srila Prabhupada, and we have all experienced the mercy of Srila Prabhupada in our life. So we are all here sitting together in Sri Krishna Balaram Mandir. So how we can understand that spiritual master is more merciful than Kṛṣṇa? This is because in a way the mercy they are giving comes through Kṛṣṇa. Everything that the spiritual master distribute is coming from Kṛṣṇa, but Kṛṣṇa arranges in that way because Kṛṣṇa likes that his devotees are glorified. So Kṛṣṇa likes to distribute his mercy through his devotees, and Kṛṣṇa empowers devotees to do what he will not do. So like we see the gurus or the devotees, they appear in this most degraded situation in this material world and take all the challenges to distribute this love of God. Like Srila Prabhupada, he was placed here in Vrindavan, in Sri Radha Damodar Mandir, but still to fulfill the order of his spiritual master, he chose to leave this place and go to the most degraded place in the world and spread this wonderful movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Sri Krishna wants to glorify his devotees and see them worshipped in this merciful situation. So like we also see in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, it was very easy for Kṛṣṇa to just kill all of them just by a glance, and there was no need to have this war where so many people were killed. It was just a blink of eye for Kṛṣṇa to do it. But because Kṛṣṇa wanted to glorify his devotee Arjuna, so Krishna executed his plan through Arjuna. Arjuna was not thinking that he is some competent fighter or he has some very wonderful skill to kill the opponents, but he was also putting himself as a puppet in the hands of Krishna. He was just trying to work as an instrument in the hand of Krishna. He could never think that whatever happened is because of his learning from Dronacharya or because he was one of the best Dhanurdhar. He never thought like this. He was always in that humble state of mind where he kept thinking that only because of Krishna's mercy I could do this and I could kill all these people on this big battle of Kurukshetra. So from this we understand that we cannot do anything without mercy of the Lord. And how do we receive this empowerment? Yes, this is also a very important point. Like why Arjuna was empowered, how Srila Prabhupada got empowered. So what is the qualification to receive this empowerment? Is to surrender. Pranadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna. We have to surrender 100%. If we cannot surrender, then Krishna will not accept us as that tool, because we can try to understand, like if our authority gives us some instruction and if we follow one and if we don't follow other, that is not surrender. That means that we are choosing what to do, what not to do. That means we are not 100% surrender. So similarly, Krishna chooses only those devotees who are 100% surrender to follow his instruction. So Srila Prabhupada prayed like this when he was on Jaladuta. He was praying that what we know that is a bhajan, and Krishna says, Nachao, whatever way you want to make me dance, you can make me dance. I am like a puppet in your hand. And his humble submission attracted Krishna to manifest his causeless mercy through him. So this submission of helplessness is very, very important. Certainly we are in the process and we have to be more focused to move ahead, but it's not difficult. By the mercy of Acharyas and by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, it is possible to achieve this. And we see that how Srila Prabhupada was empowered and he could do even more than what Lord Chaitanya did. So we see that Lord Chaitanya pastime was restricted to India. He could only distribute his holy name in India. And then he says, Bharat bhumite manusya janma hoilo jar, janma sarthak kari kara paropkar. So we see our Srila Prabhupada could do much more and beyond. He could deliver the whole world. He could travel in all the continent and distribute the holy name, which even Lord Chaitanya couldn't do. So when we project ourselves as a humble servant in a helpless situation, Krishna can make us do much more bigger task than what he himself has done. This is how Krishna, so that gives more pleasure to the Lord. That is like here, Uddhava was sent to pacify. Krishna could do that, but Krishna is using his devotees to glorify them, and also he wanted Uddhava to understand the mood of the Brajbasis, the devotion the Brajbasis were experiencing. So same very Arjuna, when Krishna left, when he went to Dwarka and he couldn't feel the presence of Krishna, he was feeling helpless. He has same hand, same Gandiva, he was same Arjuna, but he couldn't protect the queens even from the small, like coward man people who just defeated him, and he couldn't protect the queens. So Krishna can empower us, and Krishna can also take that empowerment back. So it's not that it's a continuous empowerment. So this situation of being helpless, the situation of being devotees on the mercy of devotees, the situation of being depending on the mercy of devotees is a continuous process. It's not that once we are empowered and now we can think that I am empowered, I got this position and now I am independent. It's not like that. It is a continuous process where we keep feeling the intensity keep increasing, the intensity of helplessness keeps increasing in this process of devotional service. And then the empowerment also keep increasing. So we were recently traveling in America with one of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So we see that how Srila Prabhupada empowered his disciples and how they are attracting so many wonderful souls to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and glorifying the holy name wherever they go. And it is so easy for them to attract because they are in this situation of helplessness. So even one devotee asked that if we don't take this material education, how will we preach, how will we spread these glories of the Lord, how will we spread the teachings of Bhagavad Gita in this world? But as we hear from Srila Prabhupada, day before yesterday we were reading a class and that Prabhupada says that no MA, PhD or any kind of a material qualification is required to spread devotion service or spread the glories of the holy name. What is required is just mercy of the devotees and the acharyas who can empower us and use us as a tool to spread this mission of Lord Chaitanya. So Kṛṣṇa empowers whom he chooses to empower and also chooses to withdraw the mercy according to his own sweet will. So our explosive aspiration should be just to be trying to become a puppet and trying to become servant of the servant of the servant. That is the best position we can hold, and this empowerment comes simply to receive the mercy coming through his devotees. So this is the parampara system. So this staying connected to the parampara, as again coming to the question yesterday Prabhuji was asking, that should we go here and there to hear the pastimes and leelas from different sampradayas in Vrindavan. So this whole class we are hearing today is just glorifying the importance of parampara, disciplic succession. So we should be appreciative of that fact that we are part of this wonderful disciplic succession, and Srila Prabhupada mercifully is transferring the whole legacy that came from Kṛṣṇa to all of us to further distribute it for the deliverance of the world. So we should be ongoingly grateful for this wonderful fortune we have, and this will help us more and more to advance in devotional services. So one who surrenders to the Lord Hari, all the divine qualities manifest, and when we feel the love of Vaishnavas, we can understand this is love of Kṛṣṇa. And when we reciprocate with that love, we should know that this is the most pure, direct and highest form of service to Kṛṣṇa. So we should be expressing our gratefulness to these wonderful devotees who have helped us to get connected to Srila Prabhupada and who are helping to distribute this message throughout the world is very, very important. This is how we can feel the presence of Kṛṣṇa. This is how we can serve Kṛṣṇa. So we chant every day, Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado yasya prasadat nagati kutopi. So if we can please the spiritual master, we can please Kṛṣṇa. And if the spiritual master is not pleased, there is no possibility to please Kṛṣṇa. So the message today is that Kṛṣṇa manifests completely through his devotees. So as we also hear in this that Uddhava, the whole purpose was to distribute the message of Kṛṣṇa to the Brajvasis. Thank you very much. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Kṛṣṇa gives us the blessings for devotional service. Krishna says also, priyam, that we're being controlled by the modes of nature. So how much freedom do we actually have to make a decision to be full of gratitude or to surrender? And also when Kṛṣṇa performed that yoga maya on the residents of Braj, doesn't that kind of cut into interfere with their independence? Is Kṛṣṇa kind of influencing them? A few questions.
Difficult one. I will try to answer. So yes, as I understand, Kṛṣṇa has given us free will, and like Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda were freely distributing the love of God, even though people were qualified or not, patra, apatra, vichar, nahi, sthana, sthan, they were not seeing who is deserving, who is not deserving, because this incarnation of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda is much more merciful than what we hear in Krishna's pastime, and we are fortunate to be getting our birth in this Kali Yuga where Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda incarnated. So I understand that law is transgressed for us, and if we just have this sincere desire to accept the mercy which is flowing through parampara, they are ready to bestow us with that willingness and desire to continuously stay connected with the parampara and progress in our devotional services. Yes, behind, Kamala Mataji.
Thank you for the class. My question is relating to, let me say that the devotee of the Lord Kṛṣṇa, they are more merciful than the Lord himself. So we know that Kṛṣṇa is the reservoir of the mercy. How can we state that they are more merciful than Kṛṣṇa?
Yeah.
Isn't it better that we say that they are equally merciful like Kṛṣṇa? I'm hearing this statement, I'm using myself this statement, but it's coming to my mind that by saying they are more merciful than Kṛṣṇa, we are underestimating Lord Krishna's mercy.
Very good. So, as we heard today also that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arranged it like that he didn't spread the glories of the holy name in the whole world. So if we analyze the situation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just distributed holy name in India, but Srila Prabhupada could distribute it in the whole world. So Krishna gets more pleasure when his devotees are glorified. Like, for example, I have my son, Govinda Shyam. So if people appreciate him more, I feel more happy. Something like that. So this is how Krishna is. When his devotees are more glorified, Krishna feels more happy. He is not interested in hearing his own glories. So this is also in Bhagavatam, there are many verses where Krishna says that one who is devotee of my devotee is my devotee, not one who tries to become directly my devotee. So it's a competition kind of, Krishna enjoys to be appearing as a insignificant servant of his devotees, like Arjuna. For Arjuna, he was driving the chariot, Generally, people don't like to become driver, but Krishna chose to become a driver. So this is kind of an inconceivable and causeless relationship, as we can understand, because we are having a lot of material understanding and we are raised in that environment. So I appreciate your question that in no company the owner would like that his employee become richer than him, so kind of. But Krishna is not like that. Krishna is totally different. He wants every single jiva to be more glorious. And what is that glory? That glory is to spread his glory, spreading glory of Krishna. So basically he is using his devotees as a tool to propagate the most important message for the humanity, which is chanting the glories of the Lord, through which each and every jiva can be delivered. So he is accomplishing his purpose through his devotees. Want to add something?
Well, Krishna is not different than the Guru, but his merciful incarnation comes in the form of the Guru. That he becomes more merciful as the spiritual master, but he is not different from spiritual.
Yeah, so Krishna comes as spiritual master. He is not different from spiritual master, but he distributes his mercy through his spiritual master. Yes, this Mataji here and then Hari Bhakti Mataji. We have time. We have time.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Thank you for the nice class. I would like to ask you about responsibility, that how do we deal with responsibility in devotional service, because I see that the more surrendered somebody is, the more he feels that I am responsible for whatever happened, even if it's a mistake or even if it's a success. And the more, the less advanced someone is, would just easily say that, yeah, it was Kṛṣṇa's will. If something goes wrong, we just say it was Kṛṣṇa's will. So how do we So you say that it's up to Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa, but at the same time, there is our responsibility. Thank you.
So, certainly the first and foremost requirement is to trying to become an instrument, and as we become the instrument and Guru gives us instruction, and then to have faith in those instructions and trying to achieve what has been given with all the intelligence and understanding we have, like when Srila Prabhupada asked his disciples to finish Chaitanya Charitamrita in what, 6 months? 2 months, huh? Yeah, 2 months. So they thought that it is not possible. This is like a material understanding. But then because they had that faith, and because of that faith they could responsibly achieve the task in the time given by Srila Prabhupada. So I understand that along with surrender, the faith in the instruction of Guru is very, very important. And if we have that, and when we try to fulfill that, then all the required skills and the kind of responsibility, as you mentioned, everything will be given with the service. So we don't have to be much worried about those aspects, but when we are really focused, so they say that if you are interested to clean this place, you just apply your intelligence to clean this place. Don't think about how unclean the rest of the world is. This is how much focus we have to be on the instruction of spiritual master. And then when he sees that we are focused and we are dedicated and surrender to his instruction, then he increases our responsibility. Then he might assign the whole temple cleaning to us, and then maybe whole Vrindavan cleaning to us, like that. So this is how the empowerment keep increasing when we have that firm faith in the instructions of the spiritual master. Would you like to add to it? Thank you. Here.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the session. My question is that you said that we have to be 100% surrendered. One has to be 100% surrendered to attract the mercy. So, can you please tell the ways that we are not 100% surrendered, or in the positive way also, that how can we 100% surrendered?
Each one of us are 100% surrender according to the level of consciousness we have now. So it's not that we are holding because we don't want to give, but in our understanding we have given the maximum we can give. That can be one positive way of understanding the situation. But it's not very difficult to understand ourselves, because this surrendering process is internal, it is not external. So I can understand how much I am attached to materialistic things, how much I am meditating on material things throughout the day, or how much I am meditating on Kṛṣṇa throughout the day. So we cannot have any checks which are external to monitor, but as our enthusiasm, determination, it keeps increasing in rendering service, and gradually we feel more and more gratitude to the process of devotional service, and most importantly we are out of this mentality to complain anything around us. It means that we are feeling the presence of Kṛṣṇa everywhere and anywhere. So these are some small things we can try to gauge ourselves, but it's, in my understanding, it is very easy to know ourselves how much we are surrendered, and then there is the sixth process, the Sharanagati, third process of Sharanagati, that bhajan by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, accepting everything that is favorable, rejecting unfavorable. So when are we, how much active we are in rejecting the things which are coming unfavorable. So this is very easy ourselves to monitor. Acharya has given the checklist in a way, but only you can know it internally, because like for example, mobile is unfavorable and favorable both. But that is external analysis. But internally, if I am using it all the time for propagating the teachings of Kṛṣṇa consciousness, all the time I am using it to read Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavad Srila Prabhupada books, then it is favorable. So in my understanding, it is not very easy to have any external analysis of this process, but from the checklist given by the acharyas, we have to analyze ourselves that if I have my phone in hand, what am I using it for? So, I mean, if I am using it for something wrong, none of us here can know it. Only I know it. So if we see when Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan internalizing the whole instruction given by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and was trying to increase his faith and surrenderance in that instruction all the time. So this is what is required also from us, and if we continuously try to do it, this is a continuous program, everyday exercise, not only on Vyasa Puja day we express that surrenderance. So like on this Vyasa Puja we heard that the real benefit of Vyasa Puja is to increase our taste in hearing and chanting. So if we try to focus on this most important process of hearing and chanting, then we don't need to worry about anything. So that is a very enthusiastic news for us, that if we just stay connected to this hearing and chanting process 24 hours a day, that means we are fully surrendered, 100%. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.